the final audio frontier. These are the legends of Brown Squadron.
Our computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
The ongoing mission? To explore the Star Wars universe and other nerd culture topics. To seek new content and new cantinas, bars, and lounges. To boldly annoy Scruffy by making too many bad jokes. Welcome to the Hyperspace Heroes Podcast.
Hey, welcome to Hyperspace Heroes. This is Brown Leader signing in. All wings report in.
Brown 55 signing in.
Brown 22 standing by.
Welcome back, guys.
Thanks for having us back.
How many times have we been on?
I think this is either your fourth or fifth appearance, I think.
Oh my gosh, does that make us a regular yet? Does that make us like
I think so, right? Welcome to Hyperspace Heroes. This is episode 120 or 145 on the Spotchka scale, and the other guys will be joining in just a little bit, hopefully. Mark and Seppy from Fight in a Box are back. Welcome, guys. And you guys are in the middle. We'll get into your Kickstarter and everything here in a minute, but because I know you're doing like 3 nights of hoopla or something, right?
all the hooplas,
all the hooplas. I use an old timey fangled language.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, hooskow was the old timey. What's a hooskow, Aaron?
Oh, geez.
I'm gonna send you to the hooskow.
Is that like the pokey?
It is.
Yeah.
It's like jail.
Nice.
I did not realize people don't use that, and I use that on the number 2 podcast board gaming podcast in the UK. Number 1 is of course Shut Up and Sit Down, but number 2 is called We're Not Wizards. And I use that, and they're like, that almost is like a Scottish word. It's like, like haggis and hooskow.
Haggis and hooskow.
Hooskow is
on.
a Anglification of the Spanish word for court. And that is why it ended up in all those cowboy cereals. That is why it ended up being what it is.
Welcome to the etymological episode of Hyperspace Heroes.
Right on.
You love words. Words are great.
So if my records are correct, Mark, this will be your 4th time, and then Seppy, I believe that this will be your 5th time.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe you guys have been on the show officially more than anybody else at this point. And
Yes, we win something.
with let's see. Well, it kind of tied with Matt from Yubcast, I guess. He's a good guy. He's a they do all Star Wars animation, and Matt is actually, interestingly enough, he works for the White House, and he does a podcast about he's a microbiologist by trade. And yeah, I know, right? The people you meet, and we're going to touch on this here in a minute too, which is we're celebrating a day early. Tomorrow, February 7th, is Star Wars Podcast Day 2025. It's the 5th such celebration, and we'll get into what that means here in a minute. But he's the people we've met doing this podcast has been just a ton of fun. So you guys, he did 3 regular episodes, and then he actually joined us at ICCC and was on stage with me for a couple guests that we got to interview at ICCC, which was a lot of fun. And that was a whole, man, let's see, if 110, were you guys with us? I'm trying to think. That was your last time, might have been, I don't even know when episode 110 was, but
it was 10 episodes ago.
10 episodes ago. I'm just trying to think if that was like before ICCC, because we've done a lot of things since then. But what have you guys been up to lately? And you guys are kind of on a blitz tour right now, right?
We are. Mark, do you want to start? Do you want me to start? What do you want to do?
Why don't you start?
Okay.
What have you been up to, Seppy?
Well, Since last you saw us, Brown Leader,
which was November 15th.
November 15th, we were on our way to PAX Unplugged, and we did PAX Unplugged. That show was great, except I lost my voice completely for a month, for 5 weeks.
Can you imagine? Seppy talking with cue cards.
I just see him flying through the air.
It was like that.
Yeah.
Like, so I had this whole, like, I had the problem of, we had like media things and other, like, interaction and teaching people. And I was like, I'm a game designer. I have the tools to work around this. So it was sort of like a choose your own adventure, like having a conversation, and it left an impression with people. Like, but it was
Still
serious.
talking
Like,
about
I like coming back, I got the flu. So I was coughing for 2 weeks, and then I ended up on steroids. Like, I did permanent damage to my voice.
Holy cow.
It was bad. But since then, people had the loving feeling of the Skeleton Crew being a success. Like, I haven't gotten to watch it yet. I'm a person who needs Star Wars filters. I need somebody to tell me, is this Star Wars for me? Because there's so much Star Wars. And there's Star Wars, and what makes Star Wars for me and not make Star Wars for me is very specific.
It's very specific.
It's very specific of what, but I only want my time with Star Wars to be love. So I'm like, so I have people who super duper love Star Wars who then prescribe the right Star Wars for me.
Well, I will give Skeleton Crew a big vote of confidence, because the thing I enjoyed the most about it was that it was fun, plain and simple. It was fun, and
it more fun than the Battle for Endor.
Yes. Back when we talked about the show, I honestly said, after the first couple episodes, I was like, I really feel like Skeleton Crew has the vibe that I think Lucas might have been trying to go for back when he was doing the Endor movies. If he had better technology, maybe being a better script writer, with his, you got to admit, Lucas's dialogue is clunky at times, but we still love it. No, John Watts and Christopher Ford did a bang up job on the script writing, and the kids were great. Last episode we had Brian Young, who did an interview with those two guys about script writing for Skeleton Crew, and he posted an article on it, and I read the article. But they wrote like the script, and after they hired the actors, especially the kids, because what's two groups that you don't want to work with in Hollywood, right? Kids and animals. And so is the old cliche. And they met the kids, got to know them, started working with them, and then they started rewriting the characters to fit the personality traits that the kids were bringing. So the kids acting in the show, I thought, felt real natural. I was super impressed actually with their portrayals. And it didn't feel, none of their lines felt clunky. The CGI was pretty good.
Are the kids going to be allowed to grow up?
They've got a concept for season 2, which would factor in the fact that the kids have aged since then, because I think this was done like 2 years ago.
They're not going to just pretend like Stranger Things.
Right. Like Stranger Things is, like they should not. And Harry Potter, like, please factor in, if you're gonna factor in actors' personalities into how they deliver lines and modify the lines, please realize that those actors are going to grow 6 inches between season 1 and season 2. Like, like, okay, that little kid with the snout, that kid might be more of a problem, him growing up, than the other.
He might have tusks by the time he comes back. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, Skeleton Crew
not started before.
No, it's streaming, but I also, with this new software, so we've been using this new software, and I also have to hit the record button. So now I'm going to have to go back and somehow download the first 9 minutes of the episode off YouTube to rip the audio from that.
We'll just do cartoon versions of us.
Yeah. Right. So this has been, this whole process, learning the system, has been quite the chore for me, and I've had to shorten things. Like the intro is a lot shorter than it used to be because it can only be so many megabytes and blah 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 blah. So, but anyway, back to the show. So
where we've been, like, we were at Protospiel, Minnesota. Like, the next interesting thing is Mark and I actually live in different cities, and we only group up a couple times a year, and that has actually become more frequent in the last couple of years. And one of the things that we love to do is Protospiel, Minnesota. It is our time to really put forward whatever we are going to publish in the year. Yeah.
Come up with ideas, test things out, make prototypes. All that fun stuff happens at Protospiel.
And Mark brought it this year. He was like, we're doing an expansion to Conquest Princess. I'm like, we are? He's like, yes, this is it.
And it's called the Fashion Menace.
It's the Fashion Menace. Yeah. Nice. Conquest Princess, the Fashion Menace. And the first episode is called The Critical Mass Effect. So, yeah, no, that tested really well at Protospiel. Of course, we also did Kaiser Cucumber and the Gang's Mechanical Corners at Protospiel, and then we also did Sagrada's 3-minute challenge, which is fun. I'm picking up a side hustle to help those guys out, and the first thing was what kind of interesting daily content we can make, and I put forward this idea that we should put forward a version of the classic Dice Sudoku game that you could play in 3 minutes, and that people could play along. It was fun. Like, I made Mark play a whole bunch of times.
It was fun.
Mark, did you see the new version? Like, have you seen the videos from that now? And
no, I have not.
Like, how cheater easy the tools Ben from Floodgate is using compared to the tools that
is it way easier now?
Oh my god, it's so much easier. You lose your mind. So we did that. Like, did you get a Mayor Waffles calendar, Aaron? I thought I sent you one.
I did. Yes, I did, and I proudly showed it off when we got it on the episode.
Okay, that's good. So
corner.
We got new Mayor Waffles stickers has happened since then.
That's fun.
Yeah. What are the things that we've been making and doing, Mark? Like, as far as us stopping, I dragged Mark through like 3 different animes at Protospiel.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've got a Kickstarter going on right now. That's happened.
Yeah, for Zine Quest.
For Zine Quest, and yeah.
Are there any Star Wars adjacent zines in Zine Quest? There's 144 or something like that. I haven't seen any like Star Wars adjacent because they obviously can't say Star Wars.
I've seen one that it was described as Lost, but in space, but not Lost in space.
Yeah, Lost but not in space. Were you just doing this because we can't let people get in trouble, or is I too loud into my mic?
No, that was me thinking.
Oh, good. Oh, Mayor Waffles calendar is so good this year. Mark has really outdone himself. Yeah.
And Coruscant Nights is back for new episodes.
Yes, I've been happily tuning in every time an episode drops. Absolutely love getting back to it.
Are you at the 20-minute or 40-minute episode length currently?
About 30-minute.
Yeah.
Though tomorrow's episode is 40.
Nice.
See?
Yeah.
Good, because I can't get enough. So it's keep dropping them. So.
Of all the Coruscant characters now, Brown Leader, that you have experienced, like, who's been the most memorable? What's your favorite story arc from Coruscant Nights?
It's one of the funny ones, right?
Oh yeah, probably. I mean, how do you not go with Carp? And,
okay.
You know, Carp's a riot. And
who's Carp? Who's playing Carp, Mark?
Nikki, who worked at our booth at Origins a few years ago. Yeah. So Nikki Smetters is an illustrator that I worked with for a while. She's now teaching at CCAD, the art school in town. And yeah, she's been playing Carp for the whole time that the show's been going on. The next set of episodes after this one finishes up and the last ones for season 2 are Carp.
Nice. And then I was super excited the one time that Rondo got to come out from being a background character to being a playable character in an episode.
Yeah.
You know,
Rondo Pepsi.
Yeah, Rondo Pepsi. I absolutely love that name.
That's what happens when your players name your characters.
Oh, that is amazing.
It's just such a diverse cast of characters that, you know, from these different walks of lives and lives. And it's but honestly, I think what was the most memorable was the way Mark wove Order 66 into the storylines in a very subtle way, and how it affected the characters. And
that was a big project.
And then there's one particular part where he has playable characters interacting that did not record with each other, and the way he put it together was an absolute masterclass in editing and preparation, because I can only imagine the amount of preparation you had to do to coordinate all that, since they weren't recording together.
And that's what's happening in the episodes that are coming out right now.
Oh, nice.
They're gonna meet eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you love RPGs, if you just love fun storytelling, especially in the Star Wars universe, I can't recommend Coruscant Nights enough. And there is enough of a library where you can be listening for a while. It took me a long while. But then, of course, my favorite, probably the story that broke my chair, that popped my cherry on Coruscant Nights was the first storyline that I listened to back when you first recommended it, Seppy, was what was it? Night of the Living Bread. Night of the Living Bread.
Yeah. Food zombies.
And was it a Clatoonian? With his surfer boy accent.
Jock de Cathpa.
Yeah.
And that is, if you like that one and you are caught up, that is Sam from the Starbirds podcast, which is also a very, very good show.
I've listened to a couple of theirs. Okay. Yeah, I did. Because after I finally finished Coruscant Nights, I'm like, I was jonesing. I'm like, I need something. So I listened to a couple of theirs.
It's funny. It's a little more chaotic.
It was,
but it's pretty funny.
And it was fitting because that's the episode that I first listened to based on the recommendation from Seppy. So it actually links. It works if you think about it, you know.
I'm so glad you liked it. Like,
I did.
We don't go enough places and just play up Mark's genius and normally we kind of stick to the lane, but Mark should be celebrated. And I think this is one of the reasons we've come back to the show so many times. And so I get to like drag Mark out and make him do the dog and pony show for Coruscant Nights.
Right on. Let's we got some people in the chat. Let's go ahead and bring them in a little quickly. The Showman Notification Squad. So remember I was telling you about my oldest Seppy before the show?
Yeah.
That's my oldest right there.
And
then from actor David Jones. Have a great show, everyone. Brown 39 saying hello from the Final Frontier. So David Jones is a cool guy. He's had background roles in Strange New Worlds, Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Nice.
And most recently, he had a background role in that new movie that they just dropped. Was it Section 31?
Section 31.
That's really cool.
So he's a cool guy, Canadian actor. And then from the Showman again, Babe, Wake Up, Hyperspace Heroes is on. Yes, it is. And then another one of our regulars, Ubaldo. Hello, everybody. Ubaldo, welcome to the show tonight. So yeah, let's go into. I want to get this kind of over and done with. I've thrown the logo up on the screen really quick to.
But before we move on to that,
yeah. Go,
I have a side topic.
Yeah.
How do you feel about The Foundation? Have you watched it on Apple TV?
I have. I'm a huge fan of Apple TV. I don't have Netflix. I have like Apple TV and Peacock. And
how do you feel about The Foundation's like version of Coruscant?
It's not bad. It's the show overall can be a little dry at times, but
I mean, the books it's very slow. Like
Yeah.
It is faster than Dune, but not like you could tell what era it's written in. Like 2001 is of a thing. But Mark and I have been debating more or less, is Foundation more like Star Wars or is it more like Dune? And the struggles therein. And I think plot wise, the struggles are more like the more like Star Wars, because travel is more like Star Wars.
Yeah. What is I'm not the biggest Dune guy, so what is travel like in Dune?
You got to get these practically immortal worms from their spicy tequila bottles to say, hey, let's hold some space.
Yep.
That's exactly like they're swimming in the spiced tequila and they're like, hey, I used to be one of you like millennia ago, but then I folded so much space. I have to only breathe spice at this point. And that has opened up all time space to me. But by the way, if spice ever stops flowing, I stop living, and therefore no more space travel.
Interesting.
The spice.
But that leads us, and the reason I bring these all together, that leads us to today's topic, which is space whales, and we'll get there. Now go ahead and do your plug, because I should not stop people from doing the plug.
It's all good.
I can do the plug for you if you want. If you don't want to do it,
no, I love the plug, but I want Aaron to do the plug
because this is the first year I haven't done the plug.
Jeremiah Long jumping in the chat saying hello, Maya. How are you, sir? So I was just going to talk quickly about Podcast Day 2025. So it's something that was started 5 years ago. And let me get over to my notes here really quick. So basically what Star Wars Podcast Day is celebrating is it's the anniversary of Jedi Talk, which was the very first Star Wars podcast. And it premiered on February 7th, 1999.
What?
And yeah, right?
A year after One Piece.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a good tie-in. And I had no idea what podcasts were back in 1999. I'll admit that. And but I feel like if podcasts were more of a thing back then, I think I would have been listening to them sooner. That's for sure. Because I do enjoy the long form conversation more. And just having chats like this. But yeah, so let's see, that would be 26 years that Star Wars podcasts have been around, and now there's more Star Wars podcasts than you can count. And everybody's, especially in our age bracket, if you're bored and you need a hobby, you start a podcast. And I didn't become one until after I became an empty nester. So,
but your podcast has grown so much since I've been on. Like, is 22 the first episode that I was on? Is that how I got 22? Or was I
that was the order
guest
in the order of guests.
So
because we started with Brown 5 and went from there. And so, but yeah. Now you got
like you've done a great job with your podcast.
Thank you.
It really it's been awesome to see you grow, and to be a successful to be a successful podcast, you need Star Wars dad jokes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
with a great theme song and the ability to torture your cohorts.
Well, that's half the fun, right? That's half the reason I do it is just to make him cringe. And at work, because we all work in the same location or at the same place, and I am restricted to one Ned Flandersism a day. I am not allowed more than that. But of course, I break that rule every day that I work with Scruffy, just to annoy him.
I doodly.
But yeah, Star Wars Podcast Day, we wanted to make sure to mention that is something. It's like I said, 26 years, and yeah, that's a really long time. Mm-hmm.
Somebody had asked me I was at 2DCon in the Twin Cities last weekend, and somebody had asked me, how long have you been doing this? And I'm like, what do you mean by this? Do you mean like running demos today? Or they're like, how long have you been making games? And I'm like, since 1979 is when I started. And they're like, you should. It's like their head exploded. They're like,
Mhm.
what?
Mhm.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
So 20 years after that, people started
Yeah.
doing podcasts.
Star Wars podcast. Yeah,
Star Wars podcast.
we're on episode 120 now. You were on 46. That was the first episode you were on with us, and we've been doing this for probably 3.5 years now.
Yeah,
three and a
good
half
job.
years.
Good job.
And doing the live stream, the audio. The joke was we always had faces for radio the first 2 years. That's why we did audio only. And kids nowadays don't get that joke, but you guys do. But then, yeah, we went live streaming last January of 2024. Our goal had been 2024, but I had not really gotten around. I'd researched some software, looked into some things, and was just being lazy about it. And then we were gonna do an episode with Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast, and we're going to have them on and actually talk about Battlestar Galactica. And he advertised on his social, because he has they have a bigger listener base than we do, and he does live streams and he does audio. He does a whole bunch. But he put on social that we were going to do a live stream on at Thursday of whatever the date was at 8:00. And I'm like, no. And I DM'd him and I'm like, it's actually just an audio recording. We don't live stream yet. But then the next day I'm like, screw it. And so I downloaded StreamYard and I figured it out really fast. And we made that our first and live stream, just so we wouldn't make him a liar on his social media. And we haven't looked back since. So
there you go.
Yeah. But the thing I enjoy about doing the Star Wars podcast is all the cool people that we've met. And I touched on that sooner, and that we've gotten to know,
Seppy guests.
Seppy, we've reconnected with it. We've, you introduced us to Mark. So Mark is a regular now. I'm a regular on his show. We've had a lot of great guests. Brian Young last week, we had him on for the second time. He's a BattleTech author. So
that's amazing. Just think about this, like as a creative hobby, right? Like how many adults do you have an in-depth conversation for more than 15 minutes with about a non-work related topic,
right?
That you walk away feeling good about. Like, let's make that. We live in exciting times. Let's add that the extra caveat that you feel good about it at the end.
And so, and it's we've Mike Havens, who runs the ICCC, that we've had him on every year to talk about the show, and one of his things that he talks about is why this medium is popular and why the conventions are doing well, is that you get to a certain point in life where you don't really make friends anymore. It's not like you're going out hanging out, you're going to the club, you're not going to the bar, you're home doing things, right? And so things like this is now my community. This is our community, and we've really met, and not just in the Star Wars space, but a lot of people outside of it. And it's been like Brian Young, and talking about Apple, there's the series Silo on Apple, and those are based on the Wool books and the Wool trilogy. And we had Hugh Howey on episode 50. He was actually my first celebrity guest that we booked for the show. And but yeah, just being able to throw out invitations saying, hey, I got this little show, would you like to come on? And it's been a great door opener to meet a lot of cool people.
Well, you have great production values, and you've been doing it steadily and improving, and I'm glad. Like, one of the weird bridges that ended up getting crossed recently by our content is Ed Greenwood ended up playing the Mechanical Corners RPG. Do you know who Ed Greenwood is, Aaron? He is the author of the Forgotten Realms.
Holy crap.
And the author who writes all the books in that area, or a large section of those books, Eric Scott DeBee, played with him. So the two of them, like, if you go to the Kaiser Cucumber crowdfunding, you can see the two of their testimonials. Now, who was the third author who was with them, Mark?
The third author who was with them was Chris Jackson.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
remember what Chris Jackson made.
All sorts of stuff.
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So that's a thing that ends up happening because of podcasts. Like, it's because Epic Realms is local to us, Nick and Holly, and Nick has done an amazing job with his podcast, and he focuses on like writers of nerd stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's done it enough and had enough guests that all flavors of writers come his way. And so
As happens to love our games as well.
He did. And Nick is amazing. Nick came and he was our booth babe one year, and so that and we've been on his show. Like,
I've been on it more than you.
Oh, you have, Mark?
I have, absolutely.
Why did you do this? Are you the most then now? Octavius is so mad. Yeah. Oh my god. And we're gonna be on it together again, or you're gonna get ahead of me again. Oh,
no, we're gonna be on it together.
Oh my gosh. I like being the most frequent guest. We're the most frequent guests on We're Not Wizards too.
Nice.
Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna end up being the most frequent guest on Board Game Rundown as well.
DB, how you doing, sir?
You know, I prefer the balmy days of Hoth compared to the weather we're having in northern Michigan today.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
My apologies for being late. So can you guys back up and just go over things one more time for me?
Yeah, right.
We were talking about how great you are and how this podcast could not get on without you. And that though it's been 3.5 years, without you, it really has felt like 1 or 2 continuum jumps. Like it felt a lot much more than that, DB. And your love of dad jokes and Ned Flanders.
Oh,
so
dad jokes are the best.
They're just the best.
DB, I appreciate your title on your screen there.
You know, the problem is I couldn't fit systems coordinator on there. So
that is a Seppy. You're not going to understand that because that is a Skeleton Crew reference.
No, don't tell me. I haven't watched it yet.
Yep, don't. Yeah, so we won't dive. Oh, here she is.
Oh, look at
Miss
this.
America.
It's a trophy.
What's going on, everyone?
Welcome, guys.
I look like I'm sitting in some sort of dungeon. Am I really dark to you guys? Holy
Little
cow!
bit. A little bit.
A little bit.
We expect like a classic gray to like walk across the screen in the back, and then the Area 51. Like you got that kind of coloring going, DB.
Yeah, something like that. We were just talking about Star Wars Podcast Day 2025, talking about what podcasts have done, how we've been able to, not only us, but Mark and Seppy, that, you know, they've been on a lot of shows, they've met a lot of people, made a lot of connections. Just talking about how this medium has been such a boon for making connections and creating community.
And getting us out of our wives' basements.
I'm still there.
I'm still there. What are you talking about?
I'm still there, but you know,
you guys,
we actually go someplace.
Wow, you guys
and see stuff.
These rich people with basements, Mark, like Star Wars people have money. Like you and I are like in apartments. Like I'm on like the ground level of an apartment. Like my basement would be the parking garage.
Well, my basement is as cold as a parking garage today. So, you know.
Oh, nice.
That's very true. Yeah, it is. It's a pretty blustery day up here. Feels like the winds of Minnesota whipping our butts today.
Yeah, it's been windy here today. And
my Tauntaun blew away on the way home. So I'm just saying.
I was lucky to make it past the first marker to get home.
Yeah, right.
It took me a half hour to get past the first marker. Everybody's driving 10 to 15 mile an hour less than the speed limit.
Oh, that was me, Scruff. That was me.
Out of my way.
And I would like the listeners to tell me whether or not this set of jokes smells worse on the outside.
Yes.
Mark is like, no. He's just not
I was waiting for it.
He's like,
I knew it was coming.
Seppy's gonna do that. He can't help himself.
Mark's reviewing his contract, going, "How long do I have to stick around with these guys?"
You got a contract? Oh my god!
So, if You guys, I was telling them before you jumped on that this is Seppy's 5th appearance with us and Mark's 4th. And for just Hyperspace Heroes regular episodes, that puts them at the top of the list for most frequent guests.
Okay.
If we count some ICCC special episodes, then they're tied with Matt from Yubcast. But yeah.
But hey, you got a better record than Billy D. Williams at this point.
That's right.
We're booking him again, though, right?
Hopefully. Wouldn't that be something?
Right on.
Yeah.
Make that shit happen.
Yeah. If we can. Yeah. I couldn't get over how interestingly dressed his handler was at the convention.
Yes.
Oh, Mark, when are we gonna be so successful that we get to have a handler?
Oh boy, yeah.
Right.
Oh my god.
Billy was fun.
Two of them right there.
Billy was cool to talk to, and 15 minutes was good, and that was a real treat to talk to him, and talking to somebody from old school Hollywood too, and he was a pure gentleman, even though he's like 80, pushing 90, I think, and but
That's the question.
pure gentleman, and shook your hand still, looked you in the eye the whole time you would talk to him, and he would talk to you. No distractions, no anything. And he corrected me on some things, even though I thought I had done my research. And so that was fine. That's okay. I don't mind. But because I didn't ask him about Star Wars the whole time I talked to him. I actually talked about his other things in his career. And so
that's great.
Yeah. But that interview was a result of just, again, making the connections. And
88 years old.
88. Yeah.
Wow.
And just another power of doing the Star Wars podcast, because just getting to know people and getting to make the connections and being regulars at that convention, and we help them set up now. And so,
and it's more than just the people who get to talk in the mic. It's the people who, who are your regulars who show up.
Oh yeah. Oh, our chat has, we've had some amazing shows with the chat, just fired up and having a great time. And that right there can be, I call that the Seppy effect, because it just can derail us in no time flat.
Being Seppied, the according to Hoyle definition of being Seppied is being presented with a rule to the game at the exact essential moment that Seppy needs to win, and he did not tell you before. That is the first and primary example of being Seppied. There are other derivations of it, regional dialects.
Okay.
Sorry. But yeah, and then guys, Mark was sharing with us that the remainder of the current Coruscant Nights season has been dropping an episode at a time.
Yep.
So I've been pretty happy about that, being able to catch up on that again. And that's kind of where and as usual, we've just been taking left and rights the whole time talking here. So
we talked about the Foundation.
Oh yeah, Foundation.
Did you two watch the Foundation?
They don't have Apple, so they haven't watched any of that stuff. And
I was talking about its representation of a Coruscant-like world, and whether the Foundation is more like Dune or more like Star Wars, because that is Mark and my current debate.
Yeah. And it's a weird debate because I haven't really watched the show, just a couple episodes.
Yeah, but you've seen it's a slow burn, right?
Yeah.
Well, Apple is on my list of things to do. I'm going to drop Netflix. I'm going to pick up Apple TV and catch up on some cool stuff. So
you should put those in rotation. Get some stuff, change some stuff. I will cycle back onto Netflix when the new season of One Piece drops, because that just finished filming. But I have to get back to Disney Plus because my Star Wars filter said the Skeleton Crew is good.
Oh, it was awesome. I enjoyed it.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited.
So another guest we had on a while, let's see, when did we had Justin Leach on, and Justin Leach runs Cubic Studios, and he was instrumental in bringing anime to Star Wars, and he actually was on the committee that hired Filoni into Lucasfilm for the Clone Wars project. Justin was employee number 7, I think, for Clone Wars, right? And so he's friends with Filoni. They got to know each other, and then he left after Clone Wars. A couple seasons of Clone Wars, went back to anime. Has worked with a lot of the Japanese studios. So when Lucasfilm wants to use the Japanese studios animation houses to do visions, they go through him. So he organizes everything, coordinates, really cool. His collection. He has original theatrical release prints of the original 3 movies in the can, in their cans, in his study. And
Does he ever watch them?
He hasn't. Probably not for a while though, I think.
No, not for a while, but he said he had before. Got the projector out, put him on the wall.
Seeing Han shoot first.
Right? We met Greedo. And Scruffy got to sit in on the interview with Greedo and actually asked him that question on who shot first. And
absolutely. I told him, yes, I know you get asked this all the time, but if I don't ask, I'm going to pay for it later. So I have to ask the question, who shot first? And he went on to explain that, the answer. And then that Harrison Ford owes his whole career to him. Otherwise, it'd be, what do you call it? Greedy Anna Jones?
Greedy Anna Jones.
Yes. Yep. And he had a whole list of renamed the movies to something Greedo. It was awesome.
It was pretty amazing. Funny. It was pretty funny. From Ubaldo, I paused one streaming service, switched to another streaming service to catch up on movies or TV seasons. Right on.
That's what I'm going to start doing here next week.
So what's coming up on Paramount? Because that's renewing in 3 weeks for me. Do I need to keep Paramount? Is there a new Trek that I have to watch?
No, there's just Trek and...
David Jones was just in the chat a little while ago, and he has another background role in that Section 31 that just dropped.
Well, see, then I've got to keep Paramount just for David.
There you go. There you go.
I'll be sending you a bill, Mr. Jones.
Wasn't Chris Pine in Star Trek?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This will make you Trekkie happy. That Trekkie down there in the corner happy. Chris Pine is being considered for the lead role in Rogue Squadron, which is supposedly back in development.
Wow. Cool. Yeah. Until we see a trailer.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I listed it as big rumor.
Right.
But
Chris Pine is the best Chris. We all know that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't refute that right now.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys seen Severance? Watched any of that?
It's on my next 2 lists. I did my time at Ted Lasso.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how can this be that good? I'm like, oh my god, it's pretty good because I watched Blue Lock.
Okay.
Blue Lock is amazing. It is Squid Game meets soccer. So, and I was like, what things in soccer can I, now that I understand soccer, like, what do I else like? I'm like, oh, okay, I can watch Ted Lasso. And it was good. Like, it was good. I'm like, oh.
So the guy that plays Roy Kent, he's actually one of the writers for Ted Lasso, and he also was one of the head writers for Shrinking on Apple. And was kind of he's got a funny story somewhere online talking about how he got Harrison Ford for that series. And but yeah, Severance is and there was most recent episode, there was a Star Wars actress in there.
Nice.
Which was very cool.
Spoiler that you can drop.
I'm not going to go any further than that, but but yeah, Severance is that's my thing right now. I love Severance.
It's supposed to be really, really good, and I'm like,
well, and that
I'm waiting to my full attention.
The thing that after watching the first couple episodes of season 1, the thing that startled me the most was the credits started playing, and it was like created by Ben Stiller, and I was like, really? That it's so good, and you think about Ben Stiller. Well, you think about Ben Stiller movies, right? And it would be like Jim Carrey or somebody else that's producing some really good psychological thriller with a Alfred Hitchcock vibe.
If you can do comedy, you can do horror. Like Key and Peele star has proven that he is legit good at horror movies.
True that. So okay, so for the listeners and the viewers that have been sticking with us for 45 minutes now, let's get to transition, and we'll talk about Fight in a Box. And you guys have an event going on right now.
Yeah,
we do. So we currently have the Kickstarter for 2 games. The Kickstarter, if you're searching Kickstarter, is the 3-Night Heist, and it is featuring Kaiser Cucumber and the Gangs of Mechanical Corners, which is our new card game. In that game, you play masterminds. You each have a secret win condition and secret abilities that you can use if you reveal who you are. You're laying tiles, flipping them, twisting them, turning them all around a bunny Bobby in the center, our little bunny cop who chases you away, or you get spotted and you go to, as Seppy likes to term it, the Hooskow. And then we have the Mechanical Corners RPG, which is a cozy steampunk heist with a side of supernatural, where you play these thieves trying to get the treasure. And the trick, because y'all know about RPGs where you play together and stuff, but at the end of this game, only one player wins. And you do that by being the most helpful. So if you help the fellow thieves, you get the chance to narrate how the game ends and whether you got away with the treasure or shared it with everybody.
Yeah, the ability to always assist someone else is and they can of course refuse your assistance, but it is by nature collaborative, so that you can do more spectacular things leading up to the heist, and then after the heist, the person who was the most helpful gets to help themselves to the loot.
Very cool.
So yeah, we've got that up as part of Zine Quest, which is an annual Kickstarter event where all sorts of publishers publish little zines, big zines, a lot of RPG content going up on Kickstarter right now.
Yeah. Now, DB&C, what other nerd stuff have you done, gaming wise?
Video games is pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot in my background, unfortunately.
Did you do any of the D&D video games, Scruffy?
No.
Okay.
Dead Island, Call of Duty, stuff like that. 80s, of course. The 80s video games, of course.
My favorite fact for that is Doom. There's a entire subreddit dedicated to will it play Doom? And recently somebody made a port so that you could play Doom in a PDF. PDFs are scriptable enough that you can play the first level of Doom in the PDF. So somebody could send you the first level of Doom, and in a document you can play it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So people jailbreak all these things, obviously cars, refrigerators. The most spectacular one of whether or not it will play it is there's a home pregnancy test. One pregnancy test can play Doom.
What?
That's awesome.
It is sort of awesome. We're currently in exciting times territory, and one of the reasons I mentioned that right now is because all the platforms really want to make sure that they tell me that people who look like me and are me or are like me are not really welcome. We have decided to not do ad spend and instead go drop. What do you call these messages? Are like threatening messages, inviting messages,
enticing messages.
Enticing.
So we're going going to other people's scenes, and then Mark's going to deliver the enticing message. And
well, first we're going to other people's zines and we're supporting them.
yes,
We're giving them the money that we would normally spend on ads. So we're choosing people over platforms, basically, and then we tell them Kaiser Cucumber sends his regards.
That's the only comment we dropped that in the comments. Kaiser Cucumber sends his regards, and we're telling anybody else who like decides to go about backing one of the projects that we have highlighted to do the same. So, what are the 3 projects that we've highlighted so far, Mark?
So the first one was called Heavy Weighs the Crown. And in that game, you don't play a person, you play a crown through its history. And you talk about the people who wore it through the ages. The second one we did is...
And that's a solo RPG. So you are writing in basically in prompts. Is it more journal style or is it more...
Typically, it's going to be more journal style. Yeah. The second one we did is it is a cyberpunk
Fluff and Fury.
Yeah, where you play Chuck E. Cheese style animatronic creatures in a cyberpunk world.
Yeah, try to misbehave.
Yep. And then the one we did today is called Development Hell, which is a storyboarding RPG where you develop a movie with the ever-growing sense of dread in the background.
I had a meeting like that today. Were you guys looking in on that? Or?
When aren't we?
Always.
When aren't like seriously? So that is what we're doing. Like currently with all the shenanigans going on, people need a place to recharge and remember that joy is a protest, and creativity is inherently subversive. Like the more things that you're exposed to, the more people that you're exposed to, the more places that you go inherently change how you think and makes it harder for you to be hemmed in intellectually. Like the more things you're exposed to, food, travel, movies, all these things.
Right on.
So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
You know, I really enjoyed the this the video I think you sent me.
Welcome to Mechanical Corners, where crime pays and masterminds play. In Kaiser Cucumber and the gangs of Mechanical Corners, play cards to out-mastermind your opponents. Hide an agent or take their action. Will they get away with the loot, or will the coppers make them scoot? Pick a card. Pick a spot next to a bunny cop. Place your card face up to take its action, or face down to stay hidden. At the end of each night, figure out who broke into the vault, who went to jail, and who's still on the streets. Play the card game or live your heist in the Mechanical Corners RPG. You're a small-time thief stealing big-time treasure. Gather your team and prepare for a cozy steampunk heist. Helping your crew means a chance at winning big. Make a character. Make a plan. Make your escape. Work together, win alone. Only one player gets to narrate the endgame.
It's so good.
There it is.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
I have not watched it since I made it.
So I send Mark home to Buffalo with musical assignments. And this last one was we gave him a whole bunch of like Tank from Cowboy Bebop, the Pink Panther, the beginning of Archer, and we're like, hey, we need an original theme song for our video. Go make one with your family.
And so we did. Sat down with my dad and wrote that song.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
love it.
Well, the anime fan in me definitely was excited on the graphics for sure, because I was like, I sent it to my youngest right away because he's also a Bebop fan, and I was like, just watch this, you're gonna recognize something, and yeah, he was like, is that from Seppy? And I'm like, yeah, it's from Seppy.
Yes.
I've got like all of my Bebop stuff over here because I was referencing everything from like albums to the RPG all while working on that.
That's still one of my favorite openings, just because the music and the art style just clicks so well, for sure.
It's so good. It's so good. It's an homage to an era, reinterpreted, done super well. But that also brings us to one of the topics that Mark's like, hey, is Star Wars inherently good for heist stories? Obviously, Andor, very much a heist story. Solo,
very much multiple heist stories.
Like, is blowing up the Death Star a heist?
Getting the Death Star plans is a heist.
Death Star plans, A New Hope,
Right?
It's heists all over the place.
They're heists all over the place. It's a story.
Not to get ahead, but you need to watch Skeleton Crew.
Well, this is our second argument of the week. Mark and I have these furious fights.
Yeah. So Seppy asked me, "Is Skeleton Crew a heist?" And I had to think about it. And I said no. It's pirates versus treasure hunt versus heist. I think there's a difference.
And then I had to tell him, like a treasure hunt, like of course Aquaman, and like it's like
Aquaman. I haven't seen this.
Well, obviously Indiana Jones is the best example of a treasure hunt like movie in like that Star Wars people will absolutely love. But obviously Skeleton Crew is also a treasure hunt.
But after Seppy's watched that, we'll have to come back and discuss whether Skeleton Crew is a treasure hunt or a heist, and if there is indeed a difference.
I don't think you could call it either or. It's kind of a combination of both, really.
But ambiguity, Scruffy, is the devil's volleyball, so we have to make sure.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a Shistavan and pirate. I mean, how do you not like that? You know,
how have you not opened it yet? He's dead.
So,
you just need to open that.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. The problem is it's got so many little, like he's got 5 blasters. You know how fast those are going to get lost, and I don't need that.
Of the Timothy Zahn books, are any of those heists?
Expanded universe or canon?
That's a Mark question, not me question.
Yes.
Which one is? Yeah, which one is?
One of the canon books is the Thrawn, not the. So he did 2 trilogies.
Yeah.
And the second trilogy where it's like his days back in the there's kind of a heist with him and Anakin of all people and Padme.
Wait, is that the second book of the first trilogy?
Is it the second book of the first trilogy?
With the droid factory?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is the first trilogy. Okay. It's like 6 books. I get the timelines mixed up in them.
See, I've only read the first 2.
Okay.
So I recognize that.
Yeah. Yeah. The second book of the first trilogy. Yeah, that's right. And it's the flow of that book I didn't care for as much. It was a little, I don't know, it was a little wonky for me, but
the back and forth.
Yeah, the back and forth.
But, because it jumps time periods from Clone Wars to Empire back and forth. I mean, we have Thrawn with young Anakin during the Clone Wars, and then Thrawn with Vader.
That's 5 minutes.
I thought it was good, but yeah, I agree with the flow of the time periods. Put me off a little bit.
Yeah. But no, they're good books nonetheless, though. I read all 6 and enjoyed all of them.
how many reversed heists are there? Like, a best example of reverse heist, of course, is the original Die Hard movie, or any of the animes with gentleman thieves, where the gentleman thief has to be stopped for any number of reasons, and so forth and whatnot. So, are there instances where they know somebody sneaky is coming, and it is a job for them to stop them?
In the Star Wars universe?
Yeah, because there are so many. We saw so many heists, and if there are so many heists, then
Return of the Jedi. The Emperor knew they were coming.
It's true.
It's true.
It's about as close as you're going to get, I think.
Yeah.
Would it be Mando season 3 when they're taking back Mandalore? Moff knew they were coming.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Maybe the end of Bad Batch, where they're inside and outside of.
But in all those instances, it's the bad guy trying to stop them.
Yeah.
But in the Die Hard instance, it's our main character. Like, the heist is bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for the full reverse height, I'm just giving those amazing Star Wars and Star Trek people and ideas that have been unexplored.
Well, then there's one on Coruscant Nights. Yeah, because we did a Die Hard episode.
There you go. And Night of the Living Bread.
And Night of the Living Bread.
Night of the Living Bread, yeah.
Night of the Living Bread.
I think who's the actress that plays Rey? She has a Die Hard movie coming out. Didn't we watch a trailer on that, Scruffy?
I could have sworn we did, yeah.
Yeah, I think we watched a trailer on that in the break room. So whale poop.
Are we going to talk about whale poop?
You can talk about whale poop if you want to. I know you've been chomping.
Why are we talking about whale poop?
Seppy's got a theory.
It would bring the Star Wars universe together with me if the hyperspace fuel that they've started putting forward the coaxium, I always forget coaxium, is actually tied somehow to the space whales themselves. Because they say, like, the space whales taught them the hyperspace corridors and, like, traveling through hyperspace. But did they do it with, like, little coaxium droppings? Like, did they, like, the hubs are the places where they stop and they have to do, like, there's that episode in Rebels where they're, like, in that fog pit and so forth and whatnot. I'm like, can there be a place where it's like their graveyard, like the whale graveyard, and the coaxium is like their fossilized bones? Hey, what's going on?
Seppy has not seen Ahsoka. Just going to throw that
out. Oh, no, I haven't seen Ahsoka yet. It's on my homework. I've done the homework. I can do Ahsoka. Yeah. But I did see in The Mandalorian, the space whales show up while Grogu is, like, hanging out in the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, hey, look at space whales.
I love space whale poop could be related to coaxium. If that is the canon that your brain needs.
I'm looking this up right now.
Like, the relationship between, like, is it food that the space whales need? Like, so you use space whales like you would use pigs or dogs to hunt truffles. Like, there needs to be a relationship between coaxium and the whales. Like, it doesn't have to be the Dune relationship, which I really, really want. Like,
I mean, because isn't coaxium mined in the spice mines?
Kessel, yes.
Yes.
See?
Spice.
It is mined on Kessel.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody's ever said that Kessel's not a space whale graveyard.
That is true. And we wouldn't know because it's very nebulous around there. You wouldn't.
Or was it Kessel once originally a planet, and the space whales got really angry and hyperspaced into it and blew it up?
It is a planet.
What's a planet?
Oh, there you go. I'm excited about the idea of I want my universes to have economies. I want them to have an economy. Like, that's one of my favorite things about Star Trek was, like, yeah, you don't need money anymore. Like, the Federation's sweet.
So, I mean, Kessel's not the only place you can get coaxium at.
Is it?
No, it's not.
No.
Severine also has coaxium mines.
Oh, which explains why they could refine it there. Right? That's the end of Solo.
And the galaxy is big, right? They'd have reason to explore just to find more like space whale hubs for coaxium. Like, you know, it's good.
Now we're all just on Wikipedia.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Yep, pretty much.
DV is like, why does he care? Why does he care so much? I care, DV. I care deeply.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out if you're going to go that far, you have to go to Star Trek 4 and figure out.
And you
Is
have been
that
listening
giant
to
space
Hyperspace
whale?
Heroes. That's no moon.
They never explained where the probe came from
Hey,
to
Trekkie.
talk to the space whale or to talk to the humpback whales.
Hey,
Right.
Trekkie.
Space whales. I love me a space whales. Like, but Mark, you say space whales are highly polarizing for some members of the fandom.
No, I think they were at first.
I had a hard time buying into it at first.
But I
I
think
think they've
Dave
grown on me.
Filoni's like love for wolves and space wolves. I mean, if they're space wolves, you can have the Filoniverse. I'm on board with the Filoniverse.
Mhm.
Like, Mark was very surprised that Rebels wasn't a problem for me.
Yeah, I was.
He's like,
This is not too kiddie for Seppy.
yeah, I don't like kids, and space wizards can be problematic. But I discovered through my liking of Rebels, it's not space wizards that I have the issue with. It's the Skywalker family. It's literally just the Skywalkers that I have an issue with. Like, one family can't be that important to the galaxy. It's
Okay,
But-
so all they say about where coaxium comes from, because of the knowledge about Purgle and the gas Colozon 36, scientists discovered that coaxium naturally forms itself in places with strong interstellar energy like Kessel.
seems vague. Seems
It
like
seems
they're
like-
covering up the truth. Scruffy.
That's a lot of words to say space whale colon.
Yeah, that's a yeah.
Well, I
absolutely.
think that it was right in that description, talking about interstellar. What was it,
Yeah.
Scruffy? Interstellar activity.
Interstellar energy.
I don't think you get any more than that than the space whales going hyperactive.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty sweet.
I
It's pretty
think you're
When I woke up this
theory has
morning,
been
little did I
proven.
did not think I would be looking into the Purgle space whale droppings.
You didn't? I don't think you know
No,
Seppy well
I-
enough then.
I really did not think this is where I was going tonight, but now,
What?
This can be my
That's-
day any
now,
day.
yet here I am.
Always
right?
prepared.
Nevertheless, here I am. Mhm.
I like a fully realized universe, right? And yeah. It's a thing. A fully
there-
realized
Oh
universe.
my word!
You know, that's
All right,
that
all right,
you
all right, here it
you if you like a fully realized universe, then there
Oh,
will definitely be
here it
components of
is.
skeleton crew that you'll enjoy.
In
Yeah.
order to
Yeah.
breathe, Purgle needed to inhale stores of green gas, Clouzone 36. When they were not provided with enough gas, their skin turned a gray to brownish color. Once sufficiently provided with Clouzone 36, they metabolized it into hypermatter, enabling them to jump into hyperspace. So is coaxium a byproduct of their digestive system converting Clouzone 36?
I think so.
Are we talking about space whale farts now?
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
No, that's a gas.
Yes. I mean, if you ever
Coaxium is a
seen,
matter.
if you've ever seen what happened to our real
So it's-
life whales when they
So-
die, you'll realize this explosive force is a real thing. Like whale carcasses are super dangerous. Because
So, Scruff, are you saying that coaxium is whale shat?
I'm not finding anything to refute that statement, unfortunately.
Yes.
Didn't think that's what I would be doing tonight, but yeah, here I am.
There we are.
That's great. Makes me like, yeah. I like a universe that is super fantastical, but that ultimately in its fantasy reflects on the human condition. And I mean, that's the promise of science fiction. Yeah, like Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
It also explains why they don't fly in a straight line. Then they're always just shifted off slightly from one each other in their pod.
Ooh.
They're not getting coaxium in the face.
Don't do this if you want to be able to sleep at night. Don't see what hippos do with their poop.
Oh yeah.
I need to erase
I've seen
that
it firsthand.
thought from my head.
Of
It's
course.
really bad. It's really bad. So space hippos, space whales.
No.
That is the closest we're ever going to get to finding out the truth, apparently.
No.
We can tie everything together.
There's
Everything
no
we've been
more.
talking
Well,
about.
there's no more statement about anything like that here.
There's one other species that inhales. What was it?
What was the gas, Scruff?
Closen 36.
Ozone,
They're related to Minox, and they're called Growlix, and they were introduced in Thrawn Treason.
Yes.
The book
Yes.
that we were just talking about.
Yes. Right on.
All right. Anybody wants to know anything else about Purgo poop? They're going to have to look it up on their own. Scruffy is all done.
Scruffy.
Scruffy is all done.
I'm glad you took the hit for the team, Scruffy. I'm glad.
I'm gonna get a text at 2 a.m. from Scruffy when he's looking up hippos, and he's gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
That I have no interest in. No.
Oh my god! After you get to a certain age, and then you have to schedule the I did this at 50 kind of thing. All of these things become more real.
All right, there must be another section of Star Wars we should be focused on.
No, this is it. Like you guys are like stealing jump fuel is such an important thing, right? Like if it's only mined currently in 2 places, like who controls those places?
It does not say it's only mined in 2 places. Those are 2 places it's mined at.
Oh,
It doesn't say it is exclusive to the following locations.
Okay, so what in like? Are there specific companies that mine and refine it, or like institutions? Like,
yeah, we know that the Pike Syndicate is in charge of the mines at Kessel.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's how you become a syndicate. You have something just crushingly important that you have a stranglehold on.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much.
So if they do a live action, if they do another live action where the Pikes are running Kessel, they need to have Billy Bob Thornton play one of the Pikes.
I'm on board. I'm on board.
I'm on board with that.
Mm-hmm. I think ain't got no gas.
All right. So back to Skeleton Crew. What's so important about Skeleton Crew is that it is the reset button for another generation of people getting to Star Wars who can be younger. Like you didn't have to do all the homework for Skeleton Crew. Is that correct, Mark?
Yeah, you did.
Like you could have just jump in.
Yeah.
Never experiencing any Star Wars before.
We talked about that and like with Brian Young when we had Brian on with us last week, and his 9-year-old was watching Skeleton Crew with him. And when we were watching the show, we were like, this is a perfect for 8, 9, 10-year-olds to just, it's a good entry point into the universe for them. Cause it just works. It's like how Goonies worked for us and E.T. and other Amblin films like that.
And Aliens.
Right. Yeah. Our entry point into aliens, not quite aliens. But those Amblin style of films that we grew up on were our entry points into, sci-fi and filmmaking. And this definitely carries that vibe.
Yeah. It's got so much new to it that you can just jump in. And then if you get the nods at other things, you get the nods. And if you don't, that's okay.
Yep. There's some amazing Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Amazing Easter eggs.
Yes. Definitely.
One of my favorite moments from being on this show with Mark was talking about what does Star Wars mean to you? And Mark's like, Star Wars essentially is about family. And so the idea that, families grow and change and, they like the new people step up and other people step back. Like if you want Star Wars to continue to grow, it needs to be able to renew itself. And I think, it's vitally important.
Oh yeah.
One of the things about Skeleton Crew is It's got both levels. It's about biological family and found family, which are both themes that run constant through Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I like that message. Absolutely. Like family is who you find more than anything else.
And there's not a lick of space whale poop anywhere in Skeleton.
They'll get there. They'll get there. It'll be fine.
No, spoiler alert, there's no space whale poop. Okay.
Don't ruin it for me, DB. Come on now.
But there is galactic economy.
There is galactic economy.
There is. Yep.
Yes.
You'll appreciate that.
My favorite character is a only child latchkey kid. And surprise, surprise.
As we all were.
Well,
right?
The institution that has like coined the formula for this kind of renewal, of course, is MTV. Like MTV does this shift every 10 years where it follows one set of 14-year-olds to 25 and then it resets back to 14-year-olds, and has done that since the 90s. And then, Magic the Gathering picked that up in the aughts, and, a new season to constantly renew and a jumping in point. And if you spend any time on sort of new media like short form video and so forth and whatnot, it is about being approachable to the person who first steps in. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things that Mark and I have learned over the last couple of years that's different from earlier editions, which is making the stuff more approachable, because he and I will go all the way down into some sort of weird minutia in our universe.
Yeah, it's coming out tomorrow.
It is. Talk about that, Mark.
As part of our, I don't have one next to me, but our small box game. It's this big. It's this big, like that wide, 3 inches, 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches by less than an inch, $13.50. We made a comic strip, and then we made an RPG, which we now have on Kickstarter, and then we wrote a novella. Ooh. And we wrapped the novella up in butcher paper and twine with the wax seal.
And we only made 70 of them.
We only made 70 of them. But it's I've got all these because I'm recording stuff. It's a full thing. I'm not going to show you the inside because the inside's going to come out on YouTube tomorrow. But after 4 years since Mouse Cheese, 3 years.
4 years. 4 years now.
4 years. We're finally showing everybody what's on the inside.
Because there were a lot of collectors who were like, I'm not opening this thing up.
I'll open it up.
It's sealed, it's wax sealed and twined. Like, I'm not. And so there are a set of people who are like, there are a set of people who are like, you need to open this freaking thing up. This is incredible. Because Mark and I like spent way too much time on that in the RPG, considering and it is still the most beautiful thing that we have made.
But now that there are only probably like 6 left in our stock, it's time to open up a copy and show it to the world.
Yeah, nice. Open up the copy, show it to the world.
And we got some great narration with it, and it's just a fun.
Yeah, one of the reviewers is also a Shakespearean actor. For like summer festivals and other kinds of like Shakespeare fests in California. So, and Hungry Gamer Will volunteered himself for as tribute for this particular. And it's so good. He really drives it along. Like his voice acting is fantastic. It's a little bit. It's weird. It's very Cthulhu and Mary Shelley adjacent.
It's weird, dark, it's sad.
It's weird, dark, and sad. It literally is me. It's just weird, dark, and sad.
You tell Seppy wrote it.
You can tell. You can tell that you definitely can tell that I wrote this story. This story is very much me. Yeah. But I recommend it's. What is it? What's the first one?
They're 3 minutes. They're all 3 minutes, 3 to 3.5 minutes long.
Like Brown Leader, this is for you
tomorrow. And then we talked about a schedule, but I don't remember it.
Is it under the Fight in the Box channel on YouTube?
Yeah,
right on. Are you doing audio versions or just video?
Just video.
Just video. Okay.
Yeah, you should check it out. There, like the writing, like you can even have that on your phone while you're driving around. It won't be a big deal.
It needs the visuals. I think the first one does not necessarily need the visuals, but the rest of them all have lots of interior pages and panning.
See
and
how
scrolling
crazy it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first one, people will go, What's the big deal about this? And they're like, No, this is the inside cover. It's the first letter.
The inside cover. This is what tomorrow's video is going to look like. It's this letter.
That's the spread you get to see.
Inside cover.
Yeah.
And the rest of them will be more stuff. Newspaper articles.
Yeah. It's a whole media thing.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
We are ridiculous.
We are ridiculous. He should say no more often, Aaron. He should say no, because I will. That is probably
make me make another comic strip.
It's true. Oh, good. No, we're not doing that. I said never again. Our comic strip, Scruffy, you'll love this. Was The Adventures of Kaiser Cucumber, and it was half silent movie, half Inside Out. Where at the end of every episode, we let the audience vote on which aspect of Kaiser Cucumber was right and would take the story to the next place.
Ridiculous.
That's awesome.
It was ridiculous. Like, so all the exterior shots are shot like a silent movie, and instead of them having bubbles, there are the little signs that you put up in silent movies. And that's how you know this is actually happening in the outside world. But the inside world is all vividly colored, and the characters are all doing crazy shit.
Are you telling me Pixar ripped us off?
It sounds like it.
It definitely came out before Inside Out.
It sounds like it, yeah.
It's a thing. Yeah. So, Kaiser Cucumber. The Adventures of Kaiser Cucumber was really good, but it nearly killed Mark.
I almost died.
He almost got. It's because, like doing a green tube with a funny hat gets old after you do it for countless hours.
Also, getting the results in and having to do a comic within a very short period of time is actually what killed me.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried.
It's the voting that did me in.
The voting at the end. We tried there, and we tried to give you kind of stories that were going to be fixed points in space. It's showing showing our storytelling prowess, doing thing. But yeah, the Adventures of Kaiser Cucumber is great. We also did a voiceover version that people can watch the whole thing.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, and that might also be for you, Aaron. If you need gratuitous amounts of Conan the Barbarian references, this is for you. Like, this is for you. It even has a punchline at the end. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Not just Conan, but Arnold Schwarzenegger references.
And where can I find that?
Also on YouTube.
Yeah, also on YouTube and also on Fighter Box. You can see it. Like, you'll be like, what? Yeah, when you have us back, hopefully, knock on wood. Scruffy's like, no, those guys could never come back.
What got us into talking about minutia?
Space whale poop, probably.
Space whale poop, probably.
Yeah,
I'm certain of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am subscribed, so it's I'll definitely get to when that new one drops tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, but you'll have to go digging for the other ones. Yeah.
Well, I did listen to probably like the first hour of the Mechanical Corners RPG.
Oh, nice.
And was enjoying that, and I was like, and then when I was listening to my favorite part was the descriptions of the characters, and it was just like, oh, so that's what this world is like. Okay. And I was like, interesting. That's very interesting. Because I do have my my game that the game from when you did the Kickstarter, and it's still in the box, sealed. And so
nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There are going to be more actual plays like that out soon as well.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of good characters, some voices you'll be familiar with.
Okay.
Playing that game.
Right on. I want to, I want to return the favor about production value because Seppy is always heaping the praise on us about our production value, but your guys' production value is just top notch, and the amount, and I saw that. Well, even like when you do on your Kickstarters, the level of depth on your Kickstarters is absolutely amazing. And there's just more and more and more and more.
Mark
and
is
more
too
content.
good for me, Aaron. Like Mark should find somebody like more talented to work with by a lot. Yeah. Like that video took Mark what? Like,
Better part of a week.
the better part of a week. Like my participation in it was like at the beginning and the end, and that's it. Like and it's just like go Mark and like All right. So we talked about what I want more in my Star Wars universe. Scruffy, what would you like more in your Star Wars universe? Like my buddy Wayne, who wrote the RPG from the 90s, is like, I just want more Star Wars. It doesn't matter to me. As long as it's in the universe, I'll be very, very excited. But is there a flavor of Star Wars that you want more of? Is it more bobbleheads? Is it more books? Is it like more is it more Nerf weapons? Or is it like more long form dramas or more movies? Like what would you really, and what flavor of it would you really
I want to see more Knights of the Old Republic, or I want to see Knights of the Old Republic. When they started talking about new TV series and new movies and stuff, that's what I was hoping for. See something that I hadn't seen before.
Do you know KOTOR, Seppy?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, AJ Kimball.
Yes, there's a voice I recognize.
AJ
The Old
Kimball.
Republic.
Yeah, he has also participated in Kaiser Cucumber's 3 Night Heights. Tell them how.
AJ Kimball inspired one of the main characters of the new card game, Prime Wellington.
He won the contest that we had. We had like 6 contests during the original Mouse Cheese Cat Cucumber. But also, since he's shown up, we have to give him his title. He is the new number 1.
He's our first backer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Every crowdfund we have, there's a race to be the number 1 because it has a couple of perks. But one of them is every time you show up at anything, we talk about how you are the number 1.
Better than being the number 2, I guess.
Kim Breeze is very sad.
Talking about number 2.
Talk about number 2 a lot.
Yeah, number 2. Kim Breeze is very sad that she's the number 2. She's like, I'd rather be 3. Why? Oh God, it was the worst. Yeah.
Well, Scruffy, will you tell Seppy what Knights of the Old Republic is?
It's a computer game.
That is true.
Yeah, well, yes, there is the computer game aspect of it, but it's like it kind of brings to light the beginning of how things began. The Force. The original structure of the rebellion and all, and where the Jedi came from, more or less.
And it's got like Mandalorians, right? The old Mandos and
yes, they're
Jedi and Sith wars and that sort of stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it was where before the rule of 2, there were more Sith.
Ooh. Well, see, I'd be excited about that kind of stuff, like the rise of. So Mark and I occasionally talk about the interpretation of the Force. Like, I would like there to be more like interpretations of the Force. Like, this is what we settled on with the Jedi Order, but that's not the only way to make it look like. Because, Mark, can you reiterate what you said about it's not light and dark, more as like order and chaos? Weren't you correcting me?
It is like there is the Force and then there is Cancer. That was how I described it to you.
Right.
Yeah. That the dark side is just a corruption of the Force rather than 2 sides of a coin.
I
mean, it's pretty.
I would like the idea that the Jedi is one way to interpret the Force, and there are other ways to interpret there's different examples of Force powers, and so forth and whatnot, because we like to think about things on a spectrum, but usually things are have multiple matrices, right? There
get a
are
lot of that
multiple
in
things going on in a lot of different directions.
books
Well,
and
that was
comics.
one of the things I like about the comics, the books, the TV shows is they show that there's not just a Jedi and a Sith. There are gray Jedi. There's there's neutral users here and there. They're neither bad or good. They're just making their way through life and happen to be force sensitive.
Yeah.
Like the like the lightsaber. Some of the things I like or dislike and dislike at the same time are the different colored lightsabers. The orange are more the white are more the gray Jedi, or they're not really dedicated to the Jedi Order so much as Force users who are good guys, if you will, versus that orange where they're more geared towards looking out for themselves more so. I mean, what were some of those orange lightsaber users, DB?
You're asking me?
Yes, I'm asking the second expert in this group.
The only orange lightsabers I can think of are Balin's Skull.
Yeah, Balin Skull. There you go. He's not necessarily a bad guy. He's not necessarily a good guy. He is. Who's paying him?
He's a mercenary.
Mercenary,
Yeah,
more or less. Who's paying him?
How many times in the Star Wars universe do we hear that good is a point of view?
There you go.
Or something is seen from a certain point of view. I mean, villains don't see themselves as evil. They see themselves as the hero of their own story.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Wow. I'm interested in anomalies like the Sith who's only dedicated to doing good things and just does good things, right? Yeah, like I'm interested in that character, and if we could have that in Knights of the Old Republic, that would be very interesting to me. Yeah.
Have you read the book for the Duel, the Visions animation, the Duel?
No.
You would enjoy that.
I'm excited.
I read that when it came out because the Duel was my favorite episode of Visions, and it's a good book. I think what you just described. Yeah, it's in there.
I would be interested, and this is more Space Whale. Like, I would be interested in Star Wars before androids are shackled. Like, yeah, I'd be interested in like how do organics and like those two groups end up getting into the relationship that they end up having, right? I would like to. That would be an interesting story for me. And how do they become a second class citizens, or are they like
because androids? So you want a Battlestar Galactica style?
Yeah, like Dune directly deals with this issue, right? And you have to if you're going to have something with like super technology. And we know the number one difference in Star Wars technology and everything else is a lack of internet. And we are now living why the lack of the internet is what has to happen if you're going to have a functional galactic society, right? Like we're living the proof of that right now. But we're coming up upon the era where, we're going to have to come up with a relationship with AI. And I would like to hear stories in and around this kind of thing. Like, how does a non-human intelligence make a decision to live in equilibrium with humanoids? But that's me. I love space whale poop. We just call that space whale poop. DB, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
DB, what are you looking for?
In what, life?
No, your next kind of Star Wars. Like, hey, I would love this. This is what I want.
Oh, Garza Fwip.
What's that?
Of course.
It's the Jennifer Beals character in Book of Boba Fett. Or was it Man? No, I just, she's a highly attractive lady. So,
you You want Star Wars for the ladies.
Now, I think we need Gonk, a Star Wars story.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I want that.
I would like to. You talking as in storytelling, or as in collecting, or any of the above?
I would like a Guibo, like the fact that he was a hero for his people, and then Han Solo blasts him. I'd like all the way up into that moment. That's a very funny story for me as well. But no, like it's your fandom, and you guys participated so deeply, like from collectibles to like doing media. Like, what would you like to see? Like, what would excite you as somebody who does media on the regular, who talks about the stuff, goes to collectibles? Like, what would be the like? What would you imagine would be the next place that the Star Wars space train goes? Your dream location for the next stop.
While he's thinking about that,
Yeah, come back to me. Go ahead, Brown Leader.
Seppy, you were talking about the last thing about the relationship between androids and humans. And,
Before they get shackled.
Justin Leach, who's the guy that is cubic, helps with visions and all that. His passion project was Eden.
Oh, that was good.
And it's on Netflix. Have you watched it?
Not yet. It's when I get back to it, I'm going to.
Yeah, but that might be something that it kind of fits what you were just talking about on that. And
it was really good.
Did you watch it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I binge watched it the day after we got off the air.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I had already started it when
it's only 4 episodes, and I'm thinking about renewing my Netflix for a month just to watch it. But
for every Terminator or Matrix situation, there has to be one Iron Giant situation, and I want to see. Mm-hmm. And Star Wars is that Iron Giant situation. Like, where does that happy equilibrium? Like, how does that become the status quo? Yeah, I'm interested in that. All right, Brown Leader. What is your next stop on the Star Wars train? I would love to hear.
What I'd like to see more of Star Wars.
It could be a character. It could be an era. I love Scruffy's answer. Scruffy, your answer is great.
The easy answer for me is I'll always take more Mando and Grogu. I'm a stan. I can't get enough of it. I could watch them just flying around for 4 hours. It doesn't bother me. Right? I just love those characters and their dynamic. I mean, my latest purchase was a print.
Nice.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah, $15. But bigger picture though, more things like Skeleton Crew, honestly.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that in an answer. That makes me more excited about Skeleton Crew.
Again, one of the core fundamentals to me of what Star Wars means to me is it's got to be fun.
Okay, where in the time continuum is Skeleton Crew?
Mandoverse.
It's in the Mandoverse. Okay.
Yep.
Is that the latest in all the timelines then?
It's before the new movies.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can they just overwrite the new movies? Because that'd be cool.
Now, for a snarky fun answer, something that
here we go.
Something that I just sent to our buddies over from a certain point of skew is an animated series, The Tales of Mon Mothma, done in the animation style of Heavy Metal.
Nice. Nice. Mark,
that is
what about
awesome.
you? Mark, what about you?
Probably the obvious answer for me is I would like to see more stuff come out for the Star Wars RPG.
Nice.
Right.
It changed hands when Asmodee did Asmodee stuff, and licensing crap happened, and nothing new has come out for like 6 years.
Who had the original RPG game?
So Fantasy Flight has had it, Asmodee, since before the new movie started coming out. Before that, I think it was Wizards of the Coast. Had it for a long time.
Somewhere behind that wall is about 10,000 of those cards.
Yeah.
Some of them still sealed. Some of them are loose.
Brag much?
No, because I'd be happy. Yeah, I'll bring them over to your house. You can have them.
But there's been so much new stuff in the past few years that they could make RPG supplements out of High Republic, Mandalorian era, all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, they could.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'd love to see some new stuff from them about all the good stuff that's come out. Even the sequel era, there's not been anything.
We should go get the IP rights for that stuff and just write it.
Oh, there you go.
That seems like a realistic goal, Seppy.
At least I know I can be in the room when that is being traded. At least it's more realistic than you think, but not realistic at all. But it's more realistic than you think. All right, so DB, we're back to you.
You know what? I'm trying to think about this while all this chatter's been going on, and something I would like.
Quiet.
I would like to see, and this will never happen because of the mouse, but I would like to see a faithful adaptation, and it can be animated, Bad Batch style, whatever. But I want to see Timothy Zahn's original trilogy put on screen.
Ooh.
I've seen some half-assed attempts online on YouTube, and they've kind of hacked it up. It's pretty good, but to see those three, and I don't care if at the very end Patrick Duffy rolls over and wakes up from his dream and they explain it away that way, Dallas style. I don't care, but give the fans that story, and I think you would quell a lot of the anger out there in the fandom, because those three books are so beloved by those of us that lived through the dark times.
I agree with that. Yes, definitely.
What if they met you part way and just brought Mara Jade into canon?
I'm good with that.
I could live with that.
As long as she's played by like Scarlett Johansson or something,
After hearing all your answers,
or RuPaul, I don't care.
Or RuPaul.
I do. I do love
wow, that was a visual I did not need.
I needed that. Thank you.
You like RuPaul with a big red wig going on? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's got to work.
Wow.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. We could even have Courtney Cox play a young RuPaul playing that character. That'd be...
Oh wow. That visual.
I am on board with all that stuff. After hearing all these answers, of course, an RPG that allows people to play the games, I am very much siding on whatever creates new creativity and dreams. Like, I very much think creativity by nature is subversive, as I said before, and. Like, if Skeleton Crew is giving new people a new chance to dream a new Star Wars, I want to see more of that.
Right on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want the universe, the galaxy to continue to expand. I want I want to, if we have to jump eras before, after, or during, I just wanted to continue to inspire people around the world and bring them together.
Right on.
I agree, Maya. More of Star Wars video games.
Yeah, for Maya, I wish we'd get more Star Wars video games. I miss the days when we would get Star Wars games in tons of different genres.
Yeah, pod racing, like.
I never played that.
It's fun.
I didn't either.
It's fun.
I need to get that. Was that what was that?
Nintendo 64.
64? Okay.
Yeah.
I would love a sports anime style story where the people who are professionals in the Star Wars universe for
Playing
sports,
hotball. Yeah,
are doing the thing, and like they're traveling the circuit, and you can fit one of the other stories underneath it because they're going to a lot of places, gathering intelligence, all this other kinds of stuff, and you get to see both their life like above and below ground.
Didn't we get that? Didn't we get that in Resistance?
Yeah, it seems like Seppy just wants to watch Resistance.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
Is that what Resistance was?
It's
You said I couldn't
racing.
watch it. You said it was bad.
No, you would not like it.
Oh,
It's epically horrible.
no, I can't.
I kind of
want
want to watch it again.
No, God,
Do you?
I liked
I kinda
Rebels.
do.
I liked Rebels.
It's been
Rebels was
4
awesome.
or
I
5
loved
years
Rebels,
since I
but
watched it.
Well,
Rebels was awesome, but Resistance was horrible.
to tie in Hutball, the Star Wars Hunters game that
Star Wars
has
Hunger
a
game?
game Hunter
Oh.
Star Wars Hunters.
It's like Hunger Games.
Yeah, has a Hutball game mode in the game, which is a lot of fun, actually.
Like, there's only a half step between bounty hunting and professional sports. You can make you can make the step like yeah,
You could go there.
yeah, like you can make the step. And
The
there are other sports, right? If Resistance has ruined this idea, which is perfectly good, we can do racing. Like, racing is a real thing. We've seen
That
racing
is
show up.
Resistance.
That is Resistance. All right,
Oh,
you
is
just
it?
described Resistance now.
From AJ, I love that Seppy loved pod racing. That dude has my kid heart.
Yeah, it's true.
Or
And
we're
AJ
both.
also understands the importance of Conan. Like, AJ, what is the best in life, AJ? Tell us.
Right.
Yeah, no, like, I'd be interested. Like, what entertains? This is space whale poop. Like
It's a space whale
archaeology.
poop.
Archaeology is great. My favorite thing about Rebels is that it gave the Emperor a reason to be all evil. Like, he's an intelligent guy, right? And he wants something, and we just never knew what it was. And Rebels goes, oh, he wants all time and space. All right, then. Yeah, but we don't even know why he wants all time and space. And we got to assume there's something in his past so tragic and awful that he wanted the ability to rewrite it.
So you're telling me you want Darth Plagueis, the novel, to be made into
Oh my word! Yes.
into
Is it good?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
mind it. It was all right.
Palpatine's origin story, his master, all that stuff. So
I'd
you're
be
telling me
I'd be
that
on
you
board with
want the Acolyte season 2.
that. I probably do.
I
The
do.
thing is,
I
the
do.
thing is, the Phantom Menace. The best part about the Phantom Menace is the Emperor wins at the end, like, and how he wins, right? And it's like, whatever was going to happen, I
Never
was
looked
going
at
to
it
win.
that way.
That is literally the best part of the Phantom Menace, and of course the birth of Darth Maul. Like, the Darth Maul story between
Birth
in
and
the
death.
Filoniverse is the best story in Star Wars. Frankly, it is fantastic. It's so tragic. It's so awful. That was good, AJ. But if you had said the first one, then I could have said that. You know, Falcons and Blast, wind in your hair, and you're supposed to say no. Yeah. These stories exist. I love that. I want to see some of these stories. I like the idea that the Emperor was not always awful, and he just becomes a very driven person who wants to change all time space.
Oh, that's Robot Chicken.
It is.
That's true.
That was covered in Robot Chicken, bro.
Yeah.
From
What the
AJ
hell's an aluminum
Falcon.
I do love Seth Green.
To this day, when my boys call, I always answer the phone. Go for Papa Palpatine. From AJ Kimball, no one wants Acolyte season 2. We just want Darth Plagueis in the Filoniverse.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Okay, there. All right, that's an accurate statement. Yes,
Oh,
I want
that's
Acolyte season 2.
See, I haven't gotten to see that
like
yet either.
Acolyte.
Yeah.
I
No,
like
you
I
know
did
what?
the homework. I'm gonna do Acolyte.
They could call a show Darth Plagueis, but keep all the same characters in it, and people would watch it. They could keep Ocean, May, and
I
everything
completely
else.
agree with that.
Just don't call it Acolyte season 2, and people will watch it.
Yep.
Ooh, see, these are good ideas.
I would love a police procedural with Saul, Jeckie, and Yord. I think the three of them had great chemistry on the Acolyte, and I would like to see. We talked about it, and I think that would be a good show.
Just give me a show all about Manny Jacinto's arms. I'd watch
Oh
that.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Darth Gun Show.
Yeah.
Darth
Come
Gun
on.
Show, yes.
Mhm.
No, we created T-shirts for it. Paul Sung Hung Lee.
Oh, Tiva and Reed.
Yeah, Stephen Reed.
Tiva and Reed, Intergalactic Popo.
Popo.
Like for-profit prisons exist in the Star Wars universe, right? They're all work camps. They're awful.
Bringing us back around to Kessel. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, it's all awful. Like how a person ends up there. We've seen like law enforcement. It's really bad in the Star Wars. Like I accuse you of something, and I'm in a position of authority. Therefore, I get to like
sentence you.
Yeah, sentence you immediately, or you got arrested, and that's awful because there's no justice in the Star Wars universe. Yeah, like before all of that lawlessness, though, I would love to see like, okay, this is how people get charged with space.
I play stupid games, win stupid prizes. There you go.
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
All right.
Stay on target.
All right, so we're going to bring the show back around now that we're almost 2 hours in. And
oh my word, we are.
So we're going to touch back on the Kickstarter, but after we do Collection Corner. But let's flip over.
What's in the box?
Oh, crap. I forgot about that.
What? How could you forget about that? That's all I've been thinking about for the last week.
Whoa. Thinking about Aaron's box?
You said you were thinking about me.
I want to know what came in the box.
Whoa.
All right.
I want to know, where's the box at?
Whoa.
Oh,
you guys start Collection Corner. I got to go find it.
All right, Collection Corner. So, comic book day today. The first issue of The Legacy of Vader came out today.
Ooh.
Of course, I had to go buy both covers. And I proceeded to drop them on the ground, so the corners are damaged on both. I also found out today that they are reissuing issue number 1.
Ooh.
What?
Yes, issue number 1. So I may or may not have ordered 3 copies of that. Because I may or may not have to pass out a couple. And of course, they also had one in foil, so kind of a reflective foil style cover. So of course, I had to have one of those as well. Beyond that, that's Collection Corner for me. About 1,000,001 comic books.
And,
DB,
it's slow week because no comic books have shown up on my desk yet this week. So, and I did not spend any money. I have a great story about not spending money, but we'll save that for another day.
how is that a great story? Not spending money.
Do you want me to tell the story right here, right now?
I don't grasp the concept.
Well, okay. So I had to drive.
I know we know you were at cheer camp.
I had to drive through Kokomo, Indiana last
right.
weekend.
That's okay. You're going to pump our gas someday.
No, you're going to pump our coaxium someday.
Whale poop.
Our whale farts, yeah.
Someday.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Yes, you drove past Kokomo.
I had to drive through Kokomo, Indiana, home of Kokomo Toys, which is kind of the mecca, for my little brain because it's a cool store. Okay, they're open 4 days a week. I happen to drive through on one of the days they're open. We had some trouble getting out of town. Had to rent a car. Got about a 3-hour late start. So I was driving at scruffy speeds. I went to Plaid a couple of times trying to make it to
the speed limit. Okay.
Kokomo Toys closes at 5:00. I pulled into Kokomo at 5:15.
Oh,
that's a bummer.
Sad.
And tell the other part.
That we ate at Culver's?
No. Your trip home.
Oh, yeah. So our trip home, we're going to go through Kokomo again, but alas, it's Monday and they're not open on Mondays. And then I went from
that's a bummer.
I went from a 70-degree day in February to driving in a blizzard by the time we got back to northern Michigan. So, but that's how I saved money by not going to Kokomo Toys.
That's how you paid for your car rental.
That's how I paid for my car rental, my hotel, and the car repairs.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's an epic bummer.
yeah, 15 minutes too late.
Story of my life. When
All
traveling
right.
with my family.
What was in the box? Come on.
Well, first thing I wanted to show this off. See if that shows up on the camera. So somebody at work made us little keychains, and it's even in our brand colors.
I forgot I have one of those.
But it spells out Hyperspace Heroes.
Aww.
Something else, the guys haven't seen this, but I'm sure they will appreciate it. I showed it a long time ago. But there is
Katsoka?
Yeah, there is an artist down in the where did we find that? Oh, I found that in Daytona. But she's actually, I think, from Texas, the artist. But she does a whole line of cat themed and from all different universes, not just Star Wars. But that was my wife got one of Marty from Back to the Future as a cat. But loved the artwork, thought it was a lot of fun. The guy's got some pins, I think. That I brought.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's probably on my flare somewhere. But and then that's about the box.
The box.
All right, so my mission has been to find this in the wild, and that's just not going to happen. So I broke down and went to eBay, which is a site that I don't normally buy things on, and so I'll open the box and see how long I can stretch this out.
If you pull out a human head, I am getting off the.
It's in the box.
Oh my word! Hurry up!
But it is the Carson Kiva.
Oh yes,
that is awesome.
The Carson Tiva X-wing. There's such little Carson Tiva merch. I've got his helmet, which he autographed for me.
Helmet and the ship. That's it, isn't it?
Pretty much. Well, there's a somebody did that bust figurine.
Oh yes.
But there's not enough Carson Tiva merch, and as being one of my favorite characters, so I broke down, bought that, and so
you need to send a picture to Paul with that.
I will have to. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There is on Instagram and a few other socials, but he's mostly busy on busiest on Instagram at Delphi Rangers. The great account to follow, friend of the show, and he has been repainting some of his X-wings with brown and designating brown Squadron X-wings in his collection for us. And he, funny enough, he took a green astromech from one of the other Micro Galaxy Squadron sets and put it in the brown Squadron X-wing that he's been painting. So,
yes.
But we have a comment here. So from AJ, can Mark show you what he got this week that made me jealous?
Can I though? My stuff's all over it. So
Can
I did some clearance shopping. I'm saving for a move, but I saw these things and I had to. I got X-wing keycaps for my keyboard. So
that's
my
cool.
keyboard's super cool now.
Oh, that is awesome. I need a cool keyboard.
That's cool.
But the thing that AJ is talking about is going to take me a second to get out from under my monitor. It is a desk mat. I found it on clearance at a place called what is it called? Called Novel Keys. If anybody else is looking for something like this, they had like a couple of them left, and they had one with a Rancor on it. But I got this desk mat.
Ooh.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
nice.
awesome.
And that made AJ very jealous because he loves Ewoks.
Nice.
And they were getting
murder bears.
And those Ewoks were getting what they were deserving right at that moment.
Oh, no. Ewoks are the bomb, man.
No. I just want to see a Wookiee eat an Ewok, and that would probably be on my.
You are truly sick, dude.
What are you talking about? The Ewoks are cannibals. Like, they deserve it.
No. Hey, Ewoks were there minding their own business, and then
Cannibalizing
everybody,
things, yeah,
everybody
They're-
showed up.
They're carnivores. Stormtroopers are just
Exactly.
another species. It's like eating chicken or a cow.
I mean, where do you think they got that dress for Leia from?
Yeah,
Right.
like seriously, cannibals.
Yeah, they're minding their own business, and all these people showed up.
Yeah,
If they left them
buffet.
alone, they'd be fine.
Yeah. Somebody should just drop one of the predators on an Ewok planet and see what that
These
movie
might
I'd
win.
also watch.
I feel bad.
That's the movie I want to see right there. Yeah.
I was gonna say I wanted to see Cocaine Ewok, but that sounds even better.
Oh my God, cocaine Ewok. Yeah.
The all-white
Predator.
Ewok.
Yes, Alien versus Predator versus Ewok.
Ewok.
That's the movie I want to see.
Oh my God! Like, I would love to see a chest burster come out of an Ewok. That'd be fantastic. And then a little squat xenomorph.
That's sick.
I'm afraid what you're gonna see is a xenomorph with an Ewok pulling his way up.
Yes. See, here you go.
Little did we know their fur was acid resistant.
Little did we know. Little did we know. Yeah.
Right on. Seppy, got anything that you want to?
Well, since I'm super poor because I make games for a living, I don't actually get collectibles unless people like find them for me, and particularly in Japan. So I've got this diorama like from One Piece that somebody got for me from Japan recently, and then of course my Pochi from Chainsaw Man. Somebody's like, Seppy, you need a chainsaw dog, and I'm like, I do need a chainsaw dog. And then my last one from Japan is I have a Guts from the original issue of the Guts action figure from Berserk.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, he's hanging out right next to my, of course, most collectible, the Mechanical Corners art novella.
Even more.
Which is my copy is standing
one
right
up
there.
this week.
Yeah, like they get valuable every time one gets busted open.
Yep.
That one ended up being mine because the number was close and because its wax seal is loose. But I've never untied it or whatever it is. Yeah, I'm excited about this video so I can just show people what's going on.
Awesome.
Nice. So they did a 4 limited run
Yes.
of Ewoks, and so there's an Ewok taking on a.
All the covers are epic.
They
Yes.
are.
Yeah, and false advertising because those Ewoks got eaten, right?
Honestly, I don't know because I haven't broken the seal.
I haven't opened any of them either.
Wow. See, it's
It's on my
just
list.
Ewok's death inside.
I just like the cover.
I will read them here probably next week or week after. I'm a little behind.
All right. So guys, Fight in the Box. You guys are doing a Kickstarter. And let's see what why don't you kind of go over that again for everybody so they know where to start the project.
Mark is going to take
Me.
it away.
All right, so we are doing the 3-night heist. We are kickstarting a card game and an RPG. The card game is Kaiser Cucumber and the Gangs of Mechanical Corners, where you play masterminds trying to get away with the loot, get other criminals caught, and have some of them just stay out of the way. You play tiles around the bunny cop over the course of 3 rounds, which we call the 3 nights, and try to come out on top. And then we also have the Mechanical Corners RPG, which is set in the same world where you can play an animal, a vegetable, or an automaton trying to get away with the loot. The person who is the most helpful during the game gets to narrate how the game ends, which means they get to decide if they take everything for themselves or if they share it with their friends for some reason. We launched our Kickstarter on Tuesday. We funded within probably the first 5 hours, and now we're fingers crossed for our first stretch goal, which is printing more games, which is super exciting.
Awesome.
With everything going on in the universe, people do need a place to recharge, and we decided that this time around we are just gonna participate in Zine Quest and help other little creators. So even if you cannot see our game in our collection, please go to our YouTube channel and see the games that we're recommending and share a little bit of love with those people who are trying to bring you new worlds in new ways, which is really what Zine Quest is all about.
Yep.
Like storytelling in new ways.
And if you do back one of those projects, let them know that Kaiser Cucumber sends his regards.
Yeah. Like, please, everybody, spread a little joy. Like, that's everybody's homework. In times of anger and fear attacking your happiness, the worst thing you could do is surrender your happiness to anger and fear. So what you do is like go on shows and talk about space whale poop. You like you wonder about all the weird OnlyFans that DB is prescribed to because the people put on Star Wars outfits before they do their various things. Like you know, whatever joy looks like. We're not going to kink shame you.
You really do have cameras watching me all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they can find everything Fight in a Box at fightindabox.com, correct?
That is correct.
And if you want to know how board games or tabletop games get made, we have Board Game Design Tip for the Day. And then on TikTok on Wednesdays, we have the Board Game Live where we talk to people in and around the industry about the industry. That's mainly the content that Mark and I do together.
Yep.
For video stuff.
TikTok and YouTube are our big ones.
Yeah. TikTok and YouTube are our big ones. We do a lot of Blue Sky now. We're being good citizens. It helped that we were there at the beginning. So yeah. But yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, absolutely. Anything in and around the game industry, we are participating as peripheral poor satellites.
and Mark, you want to touch on Coruscant Nights again real quick?
Yep. Coruscant Nights is my anthology show mostly set on Coruscant, where people from all walks of life have little adventures that usually have to do with weird stuff and cults. The latest episodes that are coming out right now, and we'll be coming out with a new one tomorrow, assuming I have enough time after we finish here to do about 20 minutes of editing. Start with a date. We have a date episode, the first date episode of Coruscant Nights.
Romantic date?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
I had someone
see that
comment.
it's rated. I see that it's rated at 4.9. You've got that many people that give you fives. That's so incredible.
Yep.
It's the Gungan waiter that seals the deal.
Yep. The Gungan. It's like, what did somebody say? Attack of the Clones, but more awkward.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, that's the space whale poop I was looking for. I'm excited about that minutia.
There we go. Yeah. So Coruscant Nights, can't recommend it enough. And I had the Fight in a Box YouTube channel up there. Make sure you go over and subscribe. And then, you can find Fight in a Box in Seppy all over social media. And definitely follow them on one of their socials. So
board games are cool.
They are.
Board games are cool. And like RPGs are cool.
So now, before we do sign off, it is Seppy or Scruffy's favorite part of the show.
Oh, yay.
So
tell me a bad joke.
Dad joke of the week. Time to annoy Scruffy and DB. Dad joke of the week. All right, Star Wars dad jokes of the week, courtesy of Kelly Knox's Star Wars dad jokes book. And let's see, what do we got for this week? Okay. And this is one of my favorite ships has made a reoccurrence in the Star Wars universe. So I've been hashtagging B-Wing supremacy a lot on social, so this fits right in there. So the Rebels ordered 12 B-Wings for their fleet, but 13 ships arrived at the Battle of Endor. It was a freebie. Nope.
Okay, I actually like that one.
Where's the womp womp? There it is.
No, I actually like that one. That one stays.
Labeled
That was Dad Joke of the Week Now don't you feel absolutely complete?
I have a question regarding this joke.
Yes.
If it were not B-Wings, but they were X-Wings, would it be an extra?
Okay, that's bad.
Oh, that's bad?
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
All right. So that's usually the side of the end of the show. Mark, Seppy, it's awesome to have you guys on again. And
Thanks for having us back.
Absolutely. And all time, I guess regulars would, you're going to have to, we'll have to put on the moniker of regulars on the show. With this, but check out Fight in a Box, check out Coruscant Nights. You can find Hyperspace Heroes on all of our socials. We're on all the social media platforms. We do these weekly live streams Thursday nights at 8:00 typically. Next week, we are going to have Wade from Records of the Republic coming back for his second visit on the show. Records of the Republic. Wade has been very busy in life. He is now the manager of a bricks and minifig store in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So Records of the Republic was on hiatus, but they've just started coming back doing episodes again. So it's been great to hear Wade. And on our Spotify wrap up for 2024 for audio version of the podcast, his last visit was our #1 episode on Spotify in 2024. Ooh. So excited to hear about his adventures with the store. They've got a great social media presence as well. And we're going to talk about rebuilding the galaxy, which is something we have not talked about on this show yet. And so DB, you got to get caught up.
I got to get watching this.
Yeah.
Why I have to work that night.
I will say, spoiler alert, probably my favorite Lego Star Wars.
Oh, it was awesome.
That they've done so far. Out of all the Lego Star Wars they've done, I think it's my favorite.
It's better than the new holiday special.
I've rewatched it several times.
Yeah, I honestly, or soon the first time I watched it, I went on social and posted that they need to take those writers and give them some live action or some other animation projects because they understand Star Wars. They did a really good job. I was really happy with that. So, make sure you come in next week. And I think with that, we'll get out of here tonight, guys. And make sure you follow us, subscribe, link, hit the button, all the blah, blah, blah stuff that you're supposed to say when you do live streams. So there it is. And with that, this is Brown Leader signing off for the crew. And you've been listening and watching Hyperspace Heroes. That's no moon.